State University.
Fun to watch you work.
Thank you.
Okay, it's really fun. Okay, so where do we start?
At the beginning.
Sure. Okay, I'm going to try to go top down. So let's talk about eye contact first.
Mm-hmm.
You rarely look down at the score. Great. But you're not really looking at anyone specifically.
Yeah.
Your sort of eyes are sort of hovering right above the ensemble,
Mm-hmm.
which is very conductory.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm going to see if you can do more what I call meaningful eye contact, what you're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to make eye contact with players in the room and get them to look back at you,
Okay.
right? I know, and you're fine. That way it feels more like a conversation and a dialogue, which we'll talk about at 1 o'clock today,
Mm-hmm.
and less like you're just conducting at them. You know, I mean, I think I've said this before. One of my favorite quotes is, as conductors, we should focus less on transmitting knowledge and more on focusing on creating dialogue.
Mm.
You focus a lot on transmitting knowledge, and it's good knowledge. There's a lot of very good musical ideas, which we'll talk about, and I can help you refine those, and they're going to be great. But I'd love to see you create more dialogue with them. Does that make sense? So you're not always just talking at them. Let's try again from the beginning. So just think about eye contact. I want you to make eye contact, and you have to stay with somebody for at least 3 seconds before you go away.
Oh my gosh.
Okay?
All right. Got it.
Once it feels awkward, go to the next person. Okay. Point to me who you looked at.
Okay, I started with the trumpet in the middle.
Jackson.
Yes.
Jackson's a great guy.
And then moved over to the
Good.
clarinet.
Perfect. Who else?
Um,
Did he look at you? He did? Really? You're confirming
No,
it.
I looked over to him.
He's from the Bahamas. Everything's great. I love that. Okay, who else do you look at?
After that, I honestly went back to Jackson.
Yeah, okay.
And that's
So
about
there's
as far.
yeah, and so I'm going to highlight this and we'll go on to the next point. But this is something I would encourage you to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you create meaningful eye contact? There's eye contact, right? I'm looking at you, but I'm really watching them move over there, right? I mean, we're physically locking eyes, but I'm watching her move her oboe. you know? But it's like, are you looking at someone and taking in the quality of their being as you are making this art form together? That's really hard to do. I mean, you think about all the things we do on the podium, and then you have to try to make like a conversational dialogue with the people through instruments. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
And with masks, it kind of makes it a little easier because you have nothing else to look at, you know? But like you have to look at their eyes. That's number one. Okay, number two. Let's talk fundamental grip for just a second. Show me your fundamental. What's your basic conducting grip? I don't think I ever actually saw that. You do something that's your fingers sort of stick out this way a little bit. When you do that, your wrist locks up and the tip stops moving.
Okay. Yeah.
And my TAs know I don't care what grip you use as long as the wrist is available to move. Okay, let me see your baton real quick. Sorry to bring that up here. Hey, this is a cool handle. So like if I hold, you guys ever heard the name Tim Rainish? Tim Rainish, he runs WASB, or he used to, he's a British conductor. Tim conducts with his baton like this, right? If you hold the baton this way, your wrist cannot move upward, right? There's no knock on him at all. He's brilliant. Like the dude is brilliant. But in terms of conducting technique, his wrist can't move because it's held this way, right? So that inhibits the wrist from working, right? So that's number one. So whatever your grip is, I want to make sure that your wrist is always what we call available to move. You should write that down. You must be available to move. So if the wrist is locked in any way or the grip is any way that inhibits this, we want to cut that out. Okay? Sometimes it happens like this too. Like we can hold the baton this way where it looks like we're holding it right, but you see my wrist is cocked up backwards? It can't go anywhere, right? So we want to keep that more flat. That's number one. So kind of like we were talking about with Allegra, more wrist. Okay. Number two, I don't mind your en garde stance when you start this way because your feet are pretty active all the time. I would probably try to stay a little bit more grounded.
Yeah.
Right? And they're going to laugh at me, but I call this the tripod, where you have boom, boom, boom on your foot, right? And you want to feel your feet sort of grounded into the floor. That way, what Dr. Chessman was talking about, your ability and freedom to move is more active. You move a lot, which that doesn't really bother me, but I would like to see you be more stable when you can.
Yeah.
Okay, so meaningful eye contact, get the wrist moving, and stay stable. Let's go again from the beginning.
All right.
Hey, can we not rush the first 8 bars? That would be terrific. Thank you. Wrist. Get the wrist moving. Good. All right, I'm going to just stand still. I'm going to move your elbow. So your shoulders, if I took a hard-boiled egg and place it right here, I want you to pinch slightly with your shoulder blades. That's too much. There you go. Okay, now relax completely. Very good. Now pinch just a little bit. Perfect. That's where your shoulders should be all the time. Okay, so that way it keeps the torso expanded a little bit. Like your shoulders are back just a shade. You tend to collapse them in. You also physically, this right here, your pelvic bowl, man, I'm going to talk about a lot of stuff. I'm just going to keep it rapid fire. So you have your pelvic bowl here. You need to think of this like a fish bowl, right here, where your torso is sitting on the water. It's literally balancing like a flotation device in a pool, right? You rotate your pelvic this way, and the water is spilling different directions. Okay, so that way you have to stay, and you probably heard this before, like in marching band, we want to be an athlete from the waist down, a musician from the waist up, right? You are moving so much that your water is dipping every direction, and it's prohibiting you from being able to move out here in a way that's meaningful to them.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go again from the beginning. I want to see if you keep your feet grounded, your pelvic bowl more still, but it's available. We're not stopping it. So I don't want you to think I'm telling you, like, don't do anything. That's not what I'm saying. Because a fishbowl, the water can move, right? But if you tilt it this way, like, fish is dead, you know? So we want to keep this rather flat here. Okay, try again from the beginning. See if you can get the wrist activated. Expand your torso. Wrist. Get that moving the most. Good. So your wrist is very active when you move legato. And this is important for everybody to remember. If you want something to be staccato or there's only 2 styles of music. There is song and dance. That's it, right? If it's song music, the tip follows. Your wrist is very active in that.
Mhm.
Be-da-da-da-dee-da-da-da-da-da. It's moving a lot. When it's dance music, the tip has to go first, which means all this needs to quiet down. And when you move dance-like, this locks up and it looks fixed. The whole motion is fixed. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And you'll see that on the tape. Do you guys see what I'm saying? Like the wrist, be-da-da-da-dee-da, this is all very lyrical. But when you move this way, this has got to be more active. Okay, can I drive again for a second?
Yeah.
I just want you to see what this looks like. So if you're here, I want your wrist, ding, 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 where the wrist is more active. You move this way.
Okay.
Okay, I want your wrist to go like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so no left hand for a second.
Okay.
Let's go beginning. Just, I want you to literally watch your wrist. They're gonna play, and you just watch your wrist and see if you can get the wrist really active.
Mhm.
So the tip moves first. The tip's not gonna follow. That was all here. Did you guys see that? It all moved from right here.
Uh-huh.
You went that way instead of this way.
Okay.
Yeah. You ever seen those video games where they put the, like when they make them, they put the little dots all over people?
Yeah.
You know, and then they do their golf swing and they can watch it. If I did that and I put it up on the wall, you're going to see that this and this are really active and this doesn't do anything.
Mhm.
We want this to move first.
Okay.
Okay, try again. Okay, watch your wrist. Don't watch them. Watch your wrist.
Mhm.
Good. There you go. Keep going. Wrist. Wrist. Good. Good. Does that feel different?
Mhm.
It's a very, do you see that? Do you see how quiet this was and how active that was? You're going to have to retrain just a little bit.
Mhm.
It's a little bit of an embouchure change to make that happen.
Okay.
Okay? But that's going to work. When you move lyrically, it's all fine. But you want this to be more active when you're doing anything that's staccato.
Mhm.
Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go again from the beginning. I got a couple more things I'm going to throw at you.
Just wrist this time, or?
No, put it all back in.
Okay.
Yeah, put it all in. So eye contact, be a little more grounded, keep your pelvic bowl flat, keep the wrist moving so the tip goes first.
Mhm.
Try to keep your feet in the same place. There you go. Keep your torso expanded. Keep your hands out in front of you. Good. Good. Okay, I'm going to keep going.
Yeah.
And then you go back and watch all this later.
Yeah.
If you and I are having a conversation and I get closer to you, what are you going to do?
Back up.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, dude, I don't know you, and that's awkward to me. Yeah, anybody would do that.
Mhm.
You have to find ways to bring them to you instead of you going to them. Because once you lean in, which is something you do a lot,
Mhm.
once you lean into them, that's a very specific method of communication.
Mhm.
And their reaction will be like, what do you want? What? Well, get out of my face. What are you in my bubble for?
Yeah.
So your goal is to bring them more to you this way. He talked about weight shift a little bit in there.
Mhm.
And this is something, again, if you're planted, this works. So if you're here and the music's coming at you and you want to go this way to them, your tendency is to lean towards them, which creates tension in the foot, the ankle, the leg, all of this is cramping up, right? What you should do is actually shift your body weight back this direction and then get the music to come to you this way.
Okay.
It's the opposite of what you would think you should do.
Yeah.
Now, if something's really wrong, I'm going to lean in and be like, no, 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 no. And then his eyes are going to go boom and look up. Right? But your go-to is to lean in towards them instead of the go-to being to bring them to you.
Okay.
That make sense? Okay. One other thing. When you set up here, you need to set up flat on the table. And your table is sometimes up this direction a little bit. Okay? So we're going to try to get the table just a little bit flatter. Okay?
Yeah.
Sound good? All right, let's go again one more time. Let's not go at the beginning. Go somewhere else.
Okay.
We're tired of here playing again.
Oops.
That's okay. We'll get it.
Okay. 2. Rehearsal 2.
Bring the music to you. Yeah, good. Good. We have to stop, but I want you to go back and watch the tape. How many times your head leans in
Mhm.
and remind yourself, like, I've got to stay back
Mhm.
and bring it more back to me.
Yeah.
Okay, sound good?
Cool.
And I know you did the drum major thing. He was drum major at Carolina Crown for 3 years or something, right?
Mhm.
So you're probably used to leaning in to like get them because they're all spread out. right?
Yeah.
But that also helped you because you have a lot of raw talent that you can play with. But when you're in this kind of setup, we want to work more to bring the music to us and shape and mold,
Sure.
right? It's just refining a little bit different way.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Doug.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
it. Yeah, yeah. Okay.